Hi guys, my name is Erica Orndorff. I'm from Britain, giving everyone a flaming handshake. I want to tell you a story about how my childhood love haunted me. And if at first you think, oh, that's so sweet, could there be anything cuter? I'll ask you not to jump to conclusions, because you don't know what this is about. And when you do, you won't be smiling as much as I am right now. My parents and I lived in a cozy town paradise, a place with narrow streets, beautiful houses with charming balconies, flowers on windowsills. It was in this town that I was given my first childhood love, my first ever doll named Anne. I adored her, hair so red with white strands. It was on her that I learned how to braid hair, doing her hair all day long. Her hair was strong, so the thickness hadn't gone away, even after hundreds of plaits. Anne and I went everywhere together. My mother even made me a special purse to fit Anne full length in. I considered her my best friend. Plus, she helped me through the death of my little sister a long time ago, to whom I was a little closer than my doll. I always reserved a seat for Anne in the cafe. I sat in the opposite chair and we'd chat for long hours, go to bed together, and bathe in the bathtub. On the day of my sister's funeral, I came home and cried bitterly. I wanted to sleep so badly. I lay down on my little sister's bed and hugged her pillow. Through sleep, I felt as if I could feel someone's touch, as if someone was stroking me, comforting me, as if someone was humming a tune. "I'm right here with you. Don't worry, my girl." These were the words I heard. But I heard everything through a dream, opened my eyes in a half-slumber, saw Anne sitting in front of me, saw her singing, and fell asleep again. When I woke up, my mother came for me. She and my father were very sad, but what could I do? My little sister was no longer with us. "Let's go eat." "I don't feel like it." Mom took the doll in her hands and began to stroke her hair. "Yeah, your little sister Pippi liked to play with it too." "Yeah, we had so much fun doing her hair together with Pippi." "Our Pippi is gone, my girl." I got sad. I hugged my mom and, to distract her, I asked her to make dinner. Mom laughed. "And how will we live now? Pippi's gone. No one can replace her." Suddenly, Anne tilted her head in my direction. I got goosebumps running through my body. I turned sharply toward the doll, but she seemed to be frozen in place. And I thought I was imagining things, nothing more. Finally, when all the activities had passed, my family and I decided to leave the town and come back to Paradise only to visit Pippi's grave. On the one hand, it was difficult to take that step, but on the other hand, my parents understood that everything here reminded them of their daughter, and they could not stand it. The only way out was to leave. So we did. We went far away, to another city completely, away from Paradise, away from the painful memories. Before the trip, we stopped by Pippi's gravesite. It had been a year, and we still felt bad and hurt. I stood with flowers and Anne in my hands, and the tears flowed on their own. We're leaving, Pippi. Sorry, but this is harder than we thought. Everything here reminds us of you, and it's hard for us. We promised to come back. I love you, sis." I said those last words. Then I put Anne next to Pippi's grave. "Honey, aren't you keeping the doll? You love her so much." "I do, but I'm afraid Pippi will be bored here without us. I'll leave her here so I can come and visit." But that didn't happen. We didn't come back even after a year or two. Why? I don't know why. One thing or another, a job, someone got sick, or someone was born. All the vacations flew by like that. I can't say we forgot about Pippi. We cooked for the table and gathered with family for every one of her death anniversaries and birthdays. I missed my sister, and I missed Anne. I wonder how they're doing. How's Anne? Maybe I shouldn't have left her there. Surely she was chafed, or one of the kids might have stolen her. If so, I hope she ended up in good hands. Our new lives required more and more time and attention as time went on. We moved to another house, and there were already more new people there. Neighbors, friends, and large noisy groups filled almost all of our free time. One day I came home from a party and my parents weren't home. They were at someone's wedding. I took a shower and went to bed. It was raining, thunder rumbling. I shuddered at the noise and quickly wanted to close the windows when Anne appeared in the reflection. I pulled the curtains closed. I jumped under the covers, shaking with fear. Then when the storm subsided, I climbed out and opened the curtains again. This time, no one was there. I turned to the mirror to examine my eyes, and there I saw Pippi's face in the window. I turned around again, but no one was there. Am I hallucinating or something? Why? Oh, that's right, it's Pippi's birthday. God, how could we forget? I went to the kitchen, found a cake, stuck a candle in it, and sang, "Happy birthday, Pippi." Wow, we'd remembered it every year, and then a wedding, a party, and it's even embarrassing to admit that we forgot. I ate the cake, washed my plate, and headed to my room. Suddenly, the lights in the house went out and the thunderstorm started again. From the lightning, I saw someone lying under my blanket. My body went numb with fear, but I went over anyway and pulled the blanket away sharply. There was no one there. Shit, I need to sleep. I must be tired from today, I said to myself and lay down on the bed. In a half slumber, it was as if I could see Anne again, only my doll's face sometimes changed to my sister's. She was sitting there looking at me, and I would fall asleep and wake up again. It was as if I fell asleep, and then I'd wake up to a familiar song in the background, somewhere in the distance. "I'm here for you, don't worry, my girl." My heart froze. I opened my eyes abruptly and saw Anne's shadow. She was falling from the window right onto the floor of the room, and then my parents came in. I didn't tell them. Maybe I'd imagined it. But it went on every day like that. The voice of the song, the shadows in the room, the silhouettes through a dream. One day it was like I was talking to Anne, only Pippi's face was there. "I don't understand. What do you want?"
"You let us go. You left us. You promised you'd come and you left."
"Yeah, but I didn't do it on purpose. Life goes on. I can't come. I'm too far away."
"Even to visit me?"
"What? Pippi, God. You once loved me a little less than her. What changed? You decided to get rid of us both?" "What? I didn't. We buried Pippi and I left you there so she wouldn't be lonely. Because you knew beforehand that you'd leave us. Nobody ditched anybody. Me and Mom and Dad, it's been hard enough as it is. Well, not harder than Pippi in the grave or me on the grave." "What? What the? No, I didn't say that. I didn't. I love you. I do. I began to shake my doll, my once greatest love. I cried and begged for her to stop, but her face was getting so angry. I felt like I was going crazy, like there was something wrong with me. "Help me, Mom!" That's when I opened my eyes and saw my mother next to me. No Anne or Pippi were there. I told my mom about it, and she said it was probably just my obsessive thoughts and guilt. The psychologist advised us to go to the cemetery as soon as possible, which we did. We apologized to Pippi for not visiting for a long time, and there I saw my Anne. She was lying in the same place, already shabby, in a dirty dress. I decided to take her back with me. At home, I cleaned her up, washed her, made her a new dress, combed and braided her hair. That night, while I was sleeping, I felt something wrong again, as if someone was watching me. I opened my eyes, and there was Anne lying in front of me, looking right into my eyes and smiling. "What the hell?" I yelled and turned on the light.
"Hi, Erica, here we are. You finally got me."
What does that mean? You're a doll, you're not alive."
"Who knows? Maybe it's the other way around."
"What do you mean? Neither you nor Pippi are alive, and I visited your grave."
"You can't know for sure."
"No way, no. My mother went to my father and said, "Can't we move her to another hospital? She's no better here. She hasn't been herself since Pippi died, and she's always carrying that doll around with her. She talks to her." But Daddy didn't want me to. He wanted me around their town. It was safer for him, but not for me.
Tell me, have you ever noticed something strange in your body? I'm talking about the feelings that sometimes arise. The feeling that there is another person in you. I understand. Now it may sound like nonsense, but it's the real truth. And we are not talking about a split personality. Everything is much more sincere. In general, listen, watch, and you will understand everything. Just do not forget to like the video, write comments, and subscribe to our channel. My name is Shaya. I grew up in a house full of love, tenderness, and care. My parents always carried me in their arms, and I could feel it. I was safe, warm, and comfortable, but sometimes I wondered why my mom and dad were so protective of me. Well, when I was little, it didn't hurt. The problems came later, when I was 13 years old. I remember my friend Tina invited me to a housewarming party at home. She gathered all the girls, and I would really like to have been there too. I came home, did my homework as soon as possible, and then went to my mother and asked to visit. It was the first party in my life without my parents, and my mother was very excited. She first said a short no and then threw questions at who would be there, what we were going to do there, what we would eat, drink, everything to the smallest detail. I was so angry. I said, "Mom, I've grown up. How much control can you have over my life? Why don't you let me go anywhere? Why haven't I gone anywhere without you yet?" It was true. All my girlfriends have already been somewhere many times. They had some kind of personal life, and why didn't I have the right to do this too? I thought it was fair to take a break sometimes because I was already sitting at home, studying hard, and I only had good grades. To a lot of my questions, my mother only said that she would not let me in, and that was all, without any explanation. I went into my room and started crying. I don't know how long I lay on the bed, and when I calmed down, sat down in the boudoir in front of the mirror and wiped my tears with a tissue. At the moment when I looked at my face, I suddenly thought that I was seeing not myself, but another person. I even got scared, closed my eyes, wiped them, and opened them again, and then I saw myself again. I sat there for a while, thinking that I was imagining things because of the stress. I didn't talk to my parents for a couple of days, and then I forgot everything, but they didn't even let me go for a walk. After a while, I started having nightmares. I kept dreaming about the girl. She looked something like me, but it was the first time I'd seen her. I think her name was Larrett. She was older, taller than me, but we had the same hair color. In my dreams, she often came to me in a white dress, invited me to sit next to her. She didn't talk much, but at the end of each dream, I saw her die. It was terrible. She was so sick, and every dream I ran to help her, but not in time. Mom says I used to scream at night, but I don't remember it. I had bad dreams for 2 weeks, and then something happened at breakfast, and I sat down at the table as usual, and then I got up and poured myself a cup of coffee with cream, made toast, made eggs, and boiled sausages. All this I did as if in a fog. It wasn't like me at all. Usually, I don't eat breakfast, and I never drink coffee, much less eat fried food. But I managed to eat breakfast as quickly as if I was hungry. My parents watched me the whole time, and then they asked me what was going on. And when I finished the last piece of toast, I realized that I had eaten very well. At this moment, I seemed to wake up, looked at my mother in a frightened way, and asked, "Did I eat right now?" My mother turned pale, and she and my father exchanged glances. My father said I never eat breakfast or drink coffee, but why did I want it so badly now? I packed up and went to school. On the way home after school, my feet wandered me somewhere in the park. I didn't know this place existed before, but I went to it like I was hanging out there every day. I sat there alone and felt warm. Then I went home, dropped my bag on the doorstep, and went to the bathroom. My mother came to pick me up, and she tripped over my bag and called out to me, but I didn't answer, so she went to the bathroom and found me there. I was singing a song about a dream. I had only heard it in my dreams before. That girl used to sing it to me all the time. Mom started banging on the door, and I opened it and went back to the bathroom. "Since when do you throw your bag on the doorstep and take a bath?" my mother asked. I just said I wanted to, that's all, and then continued to sing. And then my mother began to cry. "Mom, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" I asked her, but she was crying so hard she couldn't calm down. I got out of the tub, put on a robe, and walked over to her. "Is everything okay, Mom?" This question did not bother her at all. "You never called me that," she said, and ran into the bedroom. I came into my room, sat down in front of the mirror again, and hummed a song, then looked at my face and realized that it had changed a little. And in general, some strange, inexplicable things were happening in me. And the more things happened, the more something new appeared in me. I didn't tell anyone about it. I thought maybe I'm just growing up this way. I went to bed, and the next morning I went to school without breakfast. After class, I returned home as before and sat down for lessons. The next day, I was eating sausage and eggs again, and after school, I went to the park alone. It seemed to me that I was going crazy. The nightmares were frequent. That girl Larritt in a white dress still came to me. Every time I tried to ask her who she was, she disappeared or started to get sick. I tried to save her, but I couldn't. And so, 2 months later, I wanted to wake up again and go to school, but I felt a sharp pain in my head. I couldn't even open my eyes. Then I wanted to get up, and somehow I took 2 steps, fell to the floor, and felt sick. Mom! Dad! I called to them as much as I could, but no one came. And then I passed out. In fragments, I remember how my mother was crying and the doctors were standing next to me. I heard my father's loud voice, "We can't lose her!" And then I closed my eyes and fell asleep. Hey, you all ready? It's too early for you. Say hi to Mom and Dad. Larritt said to me in a dream. I tried to catch up with her, but no matter how much I ran, I didn't get any closer. I shouted at her, asked her to tell me who she was, and she said so quietly and calmly that it wasn't time for me yet, that I had to go back. A flash of light, and I opened my eyes and breathed. Thank God! My mother shouted. I felt a sharp pain in my chest. I was given artificial respiration. When I finally came to my senses, the doctor said that everything would be fine. I got an IV, drank some water, and fell asleep again. I was discharged a few days later. As my mother told me, she found me lying unconscious on the floor. I was not breathing. The doctors did an examination and said that I was healthy, but no one understood what happened to me. When I got home, my mom made dinner and we sat down at the table. And I said, Larritt said hi. At that moment, my father's appliances fell out of his hands and my mother choked. They asked me how I knew her, and I told them about my dreams and how I had seen her in the mirror. My mother burst into tears, and I realized that she was close to them. But how exactly? This is our daughter, your sister. She died of illness when she was 13, and then we had you. I didn't know yet, but it turns out I got pregnant with you when she was gone. My mother told me later, and I understood everything. I guess she was trying to tell me about it, that we were sisters, and I didn't understand. That's why I saw her so often. She told me it wasn't time yet and made me wake up in the hospital. I said. My father hugged me. I asked why they never told me about it, but my dad said that they didn't want to talk about it. They were trying to move on. My mom pulled out her photos and I framed them, then brought them to my room. Now I think she is my guardian angel, and may her soul live in me forever. It warms me and protects me. What do you guys say? Have you seen any souls? What was it like?